I should have known when the receipts started getting shorter. That sounds odd, I know. But when you've been married a while, you notice patterns: her Starbucks order, the groceries she grabs without writing them down, the exact brand of moisturizer that hits the counter every third week. So when she came home from a quick trip to the mall, and the receipt left on the kitchen island was folded in quarters, tucked under her phone like it was hiding from me, something in my chest tightened. I didn't open it at first. I wanted to trust her. Maybe I needed to. We'd been married 6 years, long enough that our shared routines had smoothed out into comfort. I wasn't blind to the small things changing: the longer hours at her office, the way she took her phone into the bathroom, the new passwords on her laptop, but I told myself not to overreact. Don't be the insecure guy. Don't become that husband. But that afternoon, the folded receipt felt like it was staring at me, daring me. I unfolded it. It was from a boutique lingerie store. Not the kind she ever shopped at. Not Victoria's Secret. Not anything soft or subtle. This place was high-end, bold, red velvet, and black lace kind of bold. I blinked at the total: $476. My card. I checked the date. 4 days ago. The same day she said she was stuck late reviewing year-end reports with her team. I stared at the line items: silk bustier, lace garter, mesh teddy. The kind of stuff we hadn't touched in years. Not because I wasn't interested. I was. But because she wasn't. That was the first time my stomach really turned. Not from anger, not yet. From confusion. I didn't say anything that night. She came home late, kissed my cheek, dropped her purse by the door, and complained about her boss. I watched her move around the kitchen like everything was normal, and for a second I wondered if maybe, just maybe, she'd wear it for me. Maybe it was a surprise. A rekindling. Maybe she was trying to bring the spark back and didn't know how to say it. I wanted to believe that. But then, 2 nights later, I saw the charge again. Same store. Different items. A second receipt emailed to me. This time because she'd forgotten to switch the billing address from our joint to her own. I opened the email in the grocery store parking lot. I remember the sun glaring off the windshield, the taste of old coffee in my mouth, and the way my hand just went still on the steering wheel. A week passed before I did anything. I guess I was hoping it would all just fade. But it didn't. It sat in me like wet cement. So I started paying attention. Not digging. Just watching. Her phone buzzed more. She smiled at texts she didn't share. She stopped leaving her purse open around the house. Her perfume changed. So did her playlists. The intimacy between us, which had already thinned over the years, was now practically non-existent. And still, I didn't ask. I just wrapped that confusion around me like a coat and tried to go about my day. Until the morning I opened her laptop. I hadn't planned to. I swear. I was looking for a spreadsheet I'd sent her, something for our joint taxes, and her MacBook was already open. A notification pinged. A message. Not from a name I recognized. Just initials, M. The preview read, "Last night was unreal. Can still smell you on my sheets." I felt cold all over. My ears rang. You ever feel your throat close up from something invisible? That's what it was like. I clicked the thread. There weren't hundreds of messages. Just a few. Enough. Enough to know she'd worn that lingerie. Enough to know it wasn't for me. Enough to know his name was Marcus. I shut the laptop slowly. Didn't slam it. Didn't throw it across the room. I just sat there, heart pacing like I'd run a mile, staring at nothing. She was in the shower. Steam filled the hall. I could hear her humming through the door, same song she'd played in the car the day before. A tune I'd thought was just catchy. Now I hated it. I should have confronted her then. Maybe a better man would have. But I didn't. I just stood up, walked into the kitchen, and looked at the Christmas gifts we had piled on the counter. A few still needed wrapping. One of them was hers. A scarf I knew she'd never wear, but I bought it anyway because we were supposed to. That's what you do in a marriage, right? Go through the motions even when the music stopped. That's when the idea hit me. Not out of revenge. Not out of malice. I was still too stunned for that. I just wanted her to know that I knew. Without screaming. Without crying. Without handing her the power to spin it into my fault. So I found the receipt. The one from the boutique. The first one. The folded one she tried to hide. I went upstairs, grabbed the box the scarf came in, and swapped it. I placed the receipt inside. Didn't even add a note. Just folded it the way she had, tucked it under tissue paper, and rewrapped the whole thing with a green velvet ribbon. Then I labeled it. To my love. Merry Christmas. And I placed it under the tree. I don't remember the smell of the cinnamon rolls in the oven that morning. or the playlist I'd queued up to make things feel festive. I couldn't even tell you if it snowed. All I remember is how quiet everything felt inside me, like my body was moving through someone else's life. She came downstairs in that soft gray sweater I'd bought her last winter, mug in hand, eyes still sleepy. "Merry Christmas," she said, voice light. She leaned in to kiss me. I let her. Maybe that makes me weak. Or maybe it makes me human. We sat on the floor by the tree, like we always did. She curled her legs under herself, sipping her coffee, pretending not to be excited about the gifts even though she always was. There were still things I loved about her. Still pieces of the woman I married scattered in the way she laughed at bad wrapping jobs or insisted on taking turns opening presents, one at a time. I handed her mine third, just after the one from her sister, just before the one from her boss. She smiled like she always did, fingers untying the velvet ribbon slowly, deliberately. That's what made it hit so hard, the way she smiled. So sure of her world. So untouched by the truth sitting in that box. She pulled off the lid and peeled back the tissue paper. At first, she didn't react. She just stared at the folded slip of paper, fingers paused midair. Then she blinked, picked it up, unfolded it. Silence. She read the receipt once. Then again. Her face didn't change at first. No gasp. No sudden guilt. Just a tightening around her mouth. Her hand twitched, just a little, like she wasn't sure whether to drop it or destroy it. When she finally looked at me, there was something new in her eyes. Not shock. Not even regret. Fear. I held her gaze. Said nothing. I wanted to see what she'd do when there was no script to follow. No performance to give. No lies to cover her tracks. Just the truth, sitting between us, quiet and undeniable. She set the receipt down slowly. Folded it back up. "You went through my things," she said, voice cold low. "Not I'm sorry. Not I can explain. Not it's not what it looks like. Just that." As if I was the one who'd crossed a line. "I didn't have to," I replied, still calm. "You left it for me. You just didn't think I'd notice." She looked away. Her jaw clenched. I watched her recalibrate, trying to spin the narrative, find a new angle, a way to twist it back toward me. That's when I realized. It wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a choice. "You've been distant for months," I said quietly. I tried to pretend it was stress. Work. Anything but this. But then I saw the receipt. And then the messages. And then I couldn't unsee it. She swallowed hard. Still didn't speak. "Marcus," I said. Her head snapped toward me. That name hit her like a slap. She hadn't expected me to know it. That was the first real crack in her mask. I could see the panic now, rising beneath her skin like a fire about to breach. "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer. Not right away. Not even when I repeated the question. "How long?" She looked down at the receipt in her lap. The green ribbon lay beside it like some cruel decoration. 3 months, she whispered. That hurt more than I thought it would. I had guessed, of course. But hearing it, saying it aloud, it made it real in a way that took my breath. I nodded, stared at the tree lights reflecting in the hardwood floor. "You used my card," I said, not bitter, just stating a fact. "Bought lingerie to wear for another man. And you wrapped it in lies and wore it while telling me you loved me." She shook her head, tears starting to form. "It wasn't like that." "No." I looked at her now, really looked. "Then what was it like?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. No answer came. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said finally. "But you did." The words sat there between us. No drama. No screaming. Just two people in the aftermath of something broken beyond repair. "You gave up on us," I said quietly. "You just didn't have the guts to say it out loud." Tears fell now. She didn't try to stop them. For a second, I almost reached for her. Reflex, I guess. Old muscle memory. But I stopped myself. I stood. "Merry Christmas," I said. And I walked upstairs. She didn't follow. I didn't leave that day. That might surprise you. I think part of me expected to pack a bag, slam the door, drive until the gas ran out, and the silence inside me matched the quiet outside. But instead, I stayed. Not out of weakness. Not out of hope. I stayed because I needed to see it fall apart. The next few days were a blur of half-hearted apologies, careful silences, and long hours spent apart under the same roof. She walked on eggshells. I walked in straight lines. I didn't yell. Didn't lash out. I didn't give her the drama she was quietly bracing for. Because I wasn't interested in fury. I was interested in the truth. And the truth unraveled in pieces, like how she never ended it with him. even after Christmas morning. Like how he wasn't some mysterious stranger from the gym or a wild mistake, but someone from her office, someone she saw daily. Someone she risked everything for, knowing what it would do to me. To us. I told her I wanted space. She moved into the guest room. On New Year's Eve, I watched fireworks through the living room window while she cried quietly upstairs. The irony wasn't lost on me. A celebration of endings. Of new beginnings. And yet there I stood, still in the wreckage of what used to be my life. But something had shifted. I wasn't angry anymore. I was clear. 2 weeks later, I filed. Calmly. Privately. I didn't tell her until the papers were printed and sitting on the dining table. She stared at them, stunned. Like she still thought maybe I'd changed my mind. You said you didn't want to hurt me, I told her. But you did. And now it's my turn to do what you couldn't. She blinked back tears. You're really ending it. No, I said. You ended it. I'm just cleaning up. She signed without a word. She moved out by spring. Took only what she needed, or at least what the settlement allowed. I kept the house, the car, the things that mattered. But not because I wanted to hurt her. I just didn't see the point in pretending we still shared anything. A month after she left, I found the green ribbon. It was in the back of the drawer, curled up like a snake in hibernation. I held it for a long time, fingers tracing the soft velvet. The last piece of that day, that moment, that quiet act of knowing. I didn't throw it away. I wrapped it around a box. Not a gift box, just a simple wooden one, where I keep things I don't know what to do with. A cufflink from my father's funeral. A thank you card from a student I mentored years ago. A photo of me and her, taken in Maine, back when we still laughed without trying. The ribbon's in there now. Not as a keepsake, not as a scar, but as a reminder. That love, real love, doesn't lie. It doesn't take. It doesn't twist quiet mornings into secrets or use someone's kindness as a blindfold. Love isn't a receipt tucked under tissue paper. It's not something you buy or steal or borrow. It's something you show up for. Every day. And if you can't do that, then at least have the decency not to pretend you are. It's been almost a year now. I've rebuilt slowly. Carefully. I take walks in the evenings. I eat dinner with the TV off. I've learned to sleep on my side of the bed without expecting a weight beside me. Sometimes, I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't opened that receipt. But most days, I'm just grateful I did. Because the truth hurts. But it also frees you. And sometimes, the best gift you can give yourself is finally seeing things for what they really are.